class. I'm going to teach you today. Oh, sorry, my name is Marla Marks. I grew up deaf and I've been deaf since 2. My whole family is hearing. I'm the only one deaf. I'm the only one that signs. I learned to sign on my own, and I learned from classmates as well how to sign. I did speech therapy, and that helped me with my oral language. I feel comfortable in the deaf world and in the hearing world. I understand both. Today, I'd like to teach you about fashion, the fashion industry. You know, what people wear and realize why people wear what they do. It depends on your personality or your lifestyle. Also, if you can afford certain clothes or not, if you can afford fancy clothes. There's many different reasons why we wear the fashions we do. The fashion world started way back in maybe the 17th century. It started in ancient Greece, and the plays and the theater. They had so many costumes and the makeup, and that really influenced fashion a lot. And that later influenced Shakespeare and lots of things in history, and a lot with the theater. After the Greek time period, Queen Elizabeth was a big fashion icon. She was a very wealthy woman, and she required lots of clothing. She wanted lots of different styles and very fashion forward, imaginative clothing. And her subjects would look up to her in her kingdom and just want to follow her sense of style during that era. And then as time went on, things changed over the years. And England, the English arrived here in America, and their style influenced the Americans. The English style was much different than the American style. The English had fancy clothes, expensive clothes, and some of the Americans could ship those in from Europe, but they were expensive. They could sell those expensive clothes in America, but the Americans that couldn't afford that started their own businesses and set up their own seamstress shops and stores, and they sewed their own goods, and that spread through the country as well. And then as years go on, things changed in popularity. We look to Paris to follow different styles. One reason is because they have catwalks there for fashion shows, and they have so many designers. They have different designers from all over. One in particular that's popular is Italy. And the designers there design, and they start imagining different trends and styles and what they want the clothes to look like and what they think will be popular in the future. And they make all of these different clothing, and they negotiate everything. And the people in Paris, they started planning all the designs way in advance. And they have fashion shows there. And they show what they believe will be popular and what they hope will be popular. And Americans, the way we get those styles is we send people called buyers over there. And the buyers go to the shows and see the designers, and they look and see what they think would be very popular in America, and they bring it back to cities like New York and LA, Florida, Dallas, many different metropolitan areas. And those buyers from the different cities pick what they believe will match their region the best. North, south, east, west. You know, the climate is a concerned with fashion. So the buyers will buy appropriate clothing for their region. Something that we look up to is movie stars. We look up to their fashion sense. High school students, they tend to follow like MTV and all sorts of stuff like that in magazines. People that are young look up to similar people, similar people of their age, and look at the magazines and see all the pictures of their clothing. It's a big influence. I mean, we can find influence anywhere in life. The different idols will want to match their sense of style. There's a lot of influences. Trends change quickly. And they change often, and they influence us, and we try to match the trends of the season. Do you have any questions? Yes, that's a good question. Yes. Our project that we're going to do today will be homework, and you're going to have to research a designer that you pick, find out their fashion, tell us about the designer. Why are you interested in that designer? Why do people follow their fashion trends? How do they influence people? So you have to research all of that and research that designer and bring it into class. And then you're required to do a speech about it and tell us the reason for their fashion. Yes, definitely. Trends that happen from the past come back, yes. Many people look back at ideas of things that were worn in the past, like the 70s, 80s, 90s, all of those eras. We'll try to bring them back, like bell bottoms and flares, all different styles of clothes. And we look at them and integrate them into today. I mean, naturally, it's not the exact same copy, but we're taking ideas and taking those skills that they use in designing the clothes, and that influences today's fashion. So what do I think will be the next trend? So far I think right now, like the everyday casual clothes are really in. Anything that's super fancy and poofy dresses, and I don't think that's gonna happen. People can't afford that. I mean, maybe people will look at that and think, oh, that's cool, but they can't afford it. I really think that we'll do like knockoffs of different things and copy it, but on a much smaller scale and cheaper. So, what do I expect to be a trend? I just think we're going to keep going on that casual trend. It's really casual now, like flip flops, and I also think it depends on the region where you live too. I mean, you're not going to wear flip flops in cold weather. I mean, you're going to wear clothes that fit the temperature outside. So, deaf fashion compared to hearing fashion, I mean, I think we all just go to what stores we enjoy, what stores we like. I feel like there's no difference in style between deaf and hearing. Business clothing. Okay, so what would be like an everyday thing for business clothing? Well, it depends on your job, of course. Now I'm noticing Friday is business casual. And it's like casual Fridays because they're ready for the weekend. But Monday through Thursday is more formal, slacks, and but it all depends on your job. If you have a real low key job, you're not going to be dressed really fancy. But um, you might have a boss that's really strict, so you got to follow what your boss wants you to wear on the job always and wear what's appropriate. Oh, health problems influencing fashion? Oh, sure, yeah. I think it depends on the person. Maybe they have back problems. They're not going to wear like high heels and platform shoes. I mean, that would hurt their back. Yeah, they're popular and make people healthy or happy, but if I think it all depends on the individual. You have to take care of yourself. If it hurts, then don't wear it. So, yeah, I do think that health problems might influence your fashion. Okay, well, that's it for today. Thank you so much for paying attention and hope you learned something about fashion and don't forget your homework.